I got an opportunity to travel to Burundi to participate in one of their first ever the Great Crown Crane national monitoring.
Kitambo mimi sikuwa najua ati kama ni kitu ya muhimu hivi. Siku hata ningepitia hapo nigonge mateke. Sikuwa najua, lakini sasa kitu yote isipokuwa tu ni korogo, hata mnyama wote sasa mimi namuheshimu.
Zamani nilikuwa mdogo, nilikuwa nawashika hiyo watoto na waharibu sikuwa najua. Lakini wakati mimi nilifunzwa, sasa nikapata umuhimu wake na nikaona kweli wanasaidisha. Maana wanatoa mayai kidogo sana. Zingine bado zinatoa mayai mingi, lakini wanatoa mayai kidogo sana.
Mimi mmoja ya ile watu walikuwa wanaiba huku ngorogo kwa siwa.
The Great Crown Crane is currently listed as endangered on the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species.
It brought forth more understanding to me that really this species is endangered, because for almost 2 months we stayed there, going everywhere in search of the Great Crown Crane in that country, and we found none. In fact, the first week was somehow difficult to me. I could not understand what is happening, because coming from an area, if you want to see a crane, it's just a walking distance. If you just want to, you know exactly, I cannot spend the whole day without seeing a crane. And now going almost two months and you don't find a single crane, it gave me an understanding that surely this is a really endangered species, and they used to succeed to be there.
Hii korongo ilikuwa sana inategea huku chini hapa. Kulikuwa na manyazi hivi. Sasa nikaonelea jua alituchukua mpaka na mtoto yangu, tukaenda huko, tukafunzwa. Sasa vyenye tutakuwa tukizuia hii adui wasiingie kwa maji. Mimi nilijikaza kabisa. Hata kuna wakati nilikuwa natukanwa kwa hii kijiji. Juu wanakuja wanaachilia ng'ombe, zote zinaingia wapi? Huko. Haya, hii ni maumbo, wanaenda wapi? Huko. Hata haitwa nini? Kuwinda. Wanaenda wanawinda hii korongo. Wanaenda wanachukua, wanaenda wanauza. Sasa nilipigana na hiyo vita. Sasa hii kikundi hata wasaa hii mimi naona korongo hivi, naona ni kitu poa sana juu kilinisaidia wakati hiyo nilikuwa na shida.
First time to meet with the crane conservation volunteers, it was 2018. That's back in high school. I was in Form 3. They pay for me a school fees. They taught me about the cranes, the endangered species. They derived that passion in me. And right now, when I end my school in Form 4, I joined them and I become a crane custodian, monitoring the breeding pairs and the research itself.
Based on the urgency to conservation, the Great Crown Crane stand alone, because it's really endangered species, and this is one of the strongholds in Kenya. And as per we speak now, it's the only area it's only site that we have many breeding pairs. And if the species population-wise is going down, the only way we can recharge the population, it's only reproduction. And what we really do is about engaging the local community for them to embrace the conservation of these species, because much of the threats emanate from there, the way they live, the way they interact with the cranes.
Kuna mtu alikuja akatukuta na chifu, tukasanyana tukaweka mkutano huku kwa siwa, akatuambia tukuje tuhifadhi hii ndege inaitwa gorongo, tuangalie tusikakuja kuharibu hii mangorongo, kwa maana sisi Mimi mmoja ya ile watu walikuwa wanaiba huko Ngorogo kwa siwa mabata hivi. Tulikuwa tunarogota, sisi wote tulikuwa tunarogota mayai. Si hakukuwa mtu mmoja. Tulikuwa wakati tunaamka na maumbwa. Tunaingia huko kwa maana sikuwa najua kama ati hii kitu ni ya serikali. Kujua muhimu wa hii kitu ati inaweza kukuja kutufaidisha sisi. Ndio hii George alikuja kutosomesa maneno hii Mangorongo, kuangalia hii siwa isikakuja ikaharibiwa na watu wa nje.
Korogo mimi najua umuhimu wake, tena najua zinaisha duniani, kwa maana hii korogo yenye imetega mayai mengi sana, mayai 4 yenye imetoka mingi sana, 4-3. Kienda kwa hizi bata zingine zinafanya mayai kutoka 15, 18. Hivyo korogo anatoa mayai madogo sana. Sasa akipata shida ama watoto wachukue hiyo faraga yake, kuna shida ya kuisha hapa. Nimeona mafanikio tangu tuanze kushuka korogo. Tunawasaidia watoto wengi wa korogo wasimaliziwe na watoto. Tena hizi mabobwa zinapita huko kwa mtoni, tunafukuza. Sasa tunafanya isiharibu hiyo mayai yake. Kuta watoto wakiharibu, kienda kwa familia zao wanasema hiyo kitu haina kazi. Naona sasa wanafanya nini? Wanajifanya sio kitu muhimu, lakini nawafundisha umuhimu wake, maana hiyo kitu inaagamia. Video imefanya tujue umuhimu wake. Sasa tunawafunza watoto wenye wanachukua mayai huko, na wakataza kwa shukuru wenye wanalisha kwa ng'ombe kwa mto kado wenye wanategea, tunawaambia waondoe. Washuke korogo sana. Na tena sio korogo peke yake, hata ndege zingine wasishukue mayai yake, washuke kwa maana ni maridadi ya lake. Lakini watu wa neighbor ya lake ningetaka kuwaambia washuke korogo sana tena sana. Tena watoto wakati wamefuga shule waangaliwe sana wasiharibu. Kuna watoto wanachukua watoto ya korogo wanaenda kufuga nyumbani. Sasa ningesema mzazi akiona mtoto wake ana korogo, anatupigia simu, tunarudisha hiyo mtoto kwenye anastahili.
Mostly it's due to lack of knowledge. They are not aware of the danger they are posing to the species. I'm a local resident. I was brought up in Lake Oloborosat, so I could see everything that was happening around the lake. And another advantage is that the local community tend to accept me more because I'm one of their own. They know me, and even the message that I tell them, they tend to embrace more rather than somebody who is coming far and telling them the story. And I'm also reachable because they know my home. If they want something to ask me, they know how to reach me because I'm a local. And the history of the cranes conservation volunteers now coming from Burundi. And with that urge, without someone in one way or another somehow sad that we don't have the cranes in Burundi, and we have them in Lake Oloborosat. So there was this question, what about Lake Oloborosat? We did a survey in 2015, which was supported by Nature and Biodiversity Conservation Union, NABU, a boundary partner in Germany. And our key focus was to find out where do the cranes roost, the population in Lake Oloborosat, where do they roost? Where do they go for feeding? Where do they breed, the breeding territory? And in all those areas, what are the threats? And the major one, we found that the problem, they are facing a deadly threat when they are breeding. From the start, when they start laying the nest until the chicks fledge. That's where the problem was. And when we were doing the survey, we found that there was eggs correction was a norm in the area by the local people. There was poaching, catching of the adult cranes, and even sometimes the flightless chick. To an extent that they feed on them. But for them, they were not aware the threat they are causing to the species. Some try to take them at home and try to domesticate, and at the end, the chick will just die. And you find that at the end of every breeding season, we don't have any chick that's fresh. and the population, there was not recharging of the wild population. And the breeding season that we started 2015 to 2016, that is from June 2015 to February 2016, all the breeding pairs that we were monitoring, and they are quite many, none managed to fledge. And the only chick that we had hope, oh, this one is almost fledging. When we are going to monitor how has it fledged, given a sad story that some boys came and ran after the chick, they caught it and they went away with it. So that year it was 0. Now coming to 2016, 2017, one chick fledged. And now between, especially 2015 and 2016, we designed, because as we were doing the survey, the key people at the breeding site, the locals, we were engaging with them more. These are the threats that we have found that this species is facing. So kindly we request you, if you are a grazer and you are grazing within that the breeding territory, so just keep an eye. If you find some boys coming maybe for the eggs correction, just talk to them in a friendly way, convince them. And these are people, we also empowered them with information. We sit down in the field with them as they carry on their life. Maybe it's grazing, it's fishing. We feed them with information, because even some of them, they were also those people that are participating in maybe eggs correction, chicks correction. So essentially, all around the lake, it needs an area that we have many people who are interested in conservation of these species. They have understood and they have that banded to protect, and they know how to do it.
The grey-crowned crane is currently listed as endangered on the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. My research on the grey-crowned crane already has some results. First, we already know we have a resident population of grey-crowned crane, which is ranging between 250 to 350 cranes, and most of these are the breeding pairs. We also know that the chicks are dispersing widely as far as Naivasha all the way to Ologesairie, flying over the Aberdares to north of Thika, and moving further north to Malagwa, Kalatina, Narumoro, and back Laikipia, back to Bolosat.
For us, we are happy. Of course, we are happy seeing that the wild population, it's stable. We are able to recharge the wild population, and the community have already embraced it voluntarily. They came to understand. They understand, and the threats they were inducing, it's almost gone down. It's already gone down. So we are happy for that in Lake Ouroboros. And everywhere you go around in the lake, there is a story. I don't think there is another species that the community knows more and how to protect it more than the grey-crowned crane.